Good after morning. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D, and I'm joined by a man who can't keep it up. That's me. Not you. What do you?
But the old droopy willy.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a sag going on. Anyway, welcome in. I am not joined by the man. I was talking about the microphone rather than the man. The man that I am joined by is Bibby. I'll read Bib.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. For those watching on Twitch, yes, we did play the intro to the Scoop twice because we were talking about stuff that we noticed about the stream and then got distracted and it finished, so we're like, fuck, that's going to be on the YouTube video, so let's start it again, and now we're talking about it anyway, so we might as well have just done it. But anyway, welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. As you can see on the screen, my name is Graham Day. I'm joined by Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast.
Even if we do say so ourselves.
You goddamn right. We are here to bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. Nice. Video games, too. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. We want to hear your thoughts and impressions. So if you're in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. And then we want to hear your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. Baby, did we just become best friends?
Yep!
Goddamn right, didn't expect that. Fuck me. We just became best friends with Mr. T. Tassim Anvia, the noted industry leaker, is back in the chat, throwing down his prime for the 27th month
Legend.
On the channel. I return after a long time, you sexy lads. I miss you.
Yes, you do.
Miss you. Welcome back, Mr. T. Chatting to Mr. T last night about stuff. How's things, Mr. T? Thank you very much for 27 months. Appreciate you being here, as always. As always, we are here, as we mentioned, to talk about the biggest, the best, and breaking stories in the world of video games. So please do feel free to get involved. As mentioned, we are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. But it's not just about the live stream, so please do feel free to get involved in the chat because, you know, the live stream is turned into a podcast. It's a video on YouTube. And an audio podcast and iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play
that no one ever uses, and I'm not even sure if it's still a thing anymore.
At least 2 people listen on Google Play, and that was probably you and me checking to make sure it works.
Absolutely, the RSS feed works. Yep.
There may only be 2 people listening on Google Play, but there is over 165,000 people that have watched and listened to this podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved on behalf of all of those beautiful people. Before we go any further, let me remind you that we have the loot drop that runs every month. The first Monday of the month, we give a prize. Subscribers win prizes, or at least one does. Every Monday, not every Monday. Fuck, no,
every single Monday.
He's too generous. The first Monday of every month, there we go. One person bags a prize just for being a sub to the channel. Whether you paid for the sub as a tier 1, 2, or 3 prime, or 3, whether you use your free prime or whether someone gifts it to you, doesn't matter. As long as you're a sub, you can win a prize. And this month's prize, what is it, babe?
Either a copy of FIFA 23 on a platform of their choice, or an Ice Cream Uploads hat.
Nice. Not one of these. This is the Ill Vision hat, but same, but different, but still same, but still different because it's not the same.
That isn't the ICU logo, but it's the same hat.
Yeah. Same. But different.
But stays the same.
Nice. So yeah, as well as that, do you know what? You want to bag yourself one of these beautiful things over here? It's an Astro headset. We're giving one of those away on Twitter. Thanks to Astro, as you can see on the screens behind us, like here and there and stuff. Astro are one of our channel partners. They provide us with all of our audio solutions, and they will provide one of you guys with an audio solution too. Exclamation mark giveaway. One work, actually, because we're not putting it in the chat bot, but basically it's our pinned tweet. Twitter.com/Ice Cream Uploads. You'll see our pinned tweet. It's got this 300 and something retweets in there, so you've got a 1 in 300-ish chance, which is not a lot, but it's a lot better than a lot of other giveaways we'll give you on social media. And
Absolutely.
It's better than winning the lottery. That's like 1 in 16 million or something like that. Yeah. So the chances of winning in that sense are quite high.
Yeah.
So get yourself in, get yourself involved, get yourself entered, and 11 days we will draw that one. So we'll have a giveaway in 11 days, and then we'll have the loot drop just a few days after that. Whew. I see you, baby.
Prizes.
Nice. Not just stacked prizes, stacked show today. We have 4 big old stories that we need to get through in the next 50 minutes, and I can tell you what they are. Surprisingly, We're going to talk about Silent Hill.
No way.
I know, imagine. Imagine. So I was on stream last night whilst the Silent Hill transmission was happening, whilst the build up to it, and then the video went live. Obviously, there's only certain things that we can say, so we are going to report on this article as a matter of fact, because I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it every time. Full disclosure, we work with Konami, so we are very close to what's happening with Silent Hill. We know things, so because of that, we're not going to give you too much of our opinion on stuff. Or we'll be careful how we talk about things. Let's put it that way, because
we don't know everything though. That's the issue.
I know it all.
Yeah, we don't know everything, but I know
why the hill is silent.
I assume that people think that we do, and that's where the grey area comes in, because they genuinely don't think they'll be not. Yeah, yeah, the foggy area. Sorry, yeah, that was nice. But I think that's where the grey area comes in, because people might think that we keep the information from us. We genuinely don't know everything.
Yeah.
So it's not as if we're dancing around the truth or anything. We just might not specifically know what you're talking about. Even if we did, we ain't fucking telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Some things we know, some things we don't know, and some things we want you to think we don't know, but we know you know.
Right?
So, yeah, basically we'll start off talking about Silent Hill 2's remake runs on Unreal Engine 5 and has a rebuilt combat system. That is by Jordan Midler at VGC. That's where we'll kick things off. We'll then jump into Callisto Protocol, which will have, not like other games out there, a 60 FPS performance mode. Bit of shade thrown, yikes. And then we'll talk about Twitch prohibiting unlicensed gambling streams as influential streamers threaten to strike. That is an article that's been posted, and there has been an update to it too, so we'll jump through that. And then we'll finish off talking about Xbox being inferior to PlayStation because they don't have Silent Hill games on the... Oh wait, no, that's not what it says. God, it's a joke, it's a meme. So let it go. It's a meme. Xbox wants to build a mobile game store to compete with Google and Apple because it can't compete with PlayStation, is what it doesn't say there. Sorry, it's a meme again. Get over it. God damn. Okay, so Xbox does want to make a mobile game store. Interesting story. But we'll kick things off. Did you watch the Silent Hill transmission last night, babe?
I did not. I caught up with it this morning, and I can say that I was very... overwhelmed, because it was pretty much, well, I'll tell you after I was
going to say
you set us up and I ran with it. Do you know what I mean?
Are we in the right place? We are in the right place, but just for the benefit of everyone that is me, what the fuck? There was a weird Pokeball shaped thing on the thing there. Let me just...
Those with flash photography.
Just going to go... Oh, no, actually, it was back over that side's better, and then we'll go, yeah! I always forget which way
I'm about to say, yeah, this is
I'm probably going to get it wrong, because I'm going to go this way, it's probably the other way, but...
I think he was right then.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, congratulations, well done, Graham.
Okay, it's only taken me 73 years.
45th time to chat. No, that was the wrong way. Fuck! He was going the same way, so he's going that way.
There we go.
Crikey.
I didn't even move that time. There we go. Okay, back in the room. Welcome to the stream, says Enzo. Someone press a button. Fuck! 12 Head says, hello, beautiful people. Hello, 12 Head. All right, treacle. I know nothing about Silent Hill, so I expect to be well educated about it in this UK's #1 gaming podcast, says Enzo.
There you go, Enzo. Well, nice. We've got you.
Nice. It's all right. It's on screen now. We'll go through it. Then we have, I have no thoughts or impressions. Fuck's sake, Enzo. Your name's Enzo. That's a thought and an impression on its own.
Yeah, Willie.
You really had an impression on me. Neither of us can get enough bass.
No, I haven't got that. My voice is way too high. My name is... No, that's terrible. My name is... No, that's... I don't actually think I can go lower.
No, that was great,
my voice is naturally high. My name is Enzo. I don't know why I pushed my head forward.
You don't though. You kind of go like forward, and then your head, as you start it, your head goes back. It's like
I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Pigeon baby.
I'm very aware of what my fucking head's doing now. I'm doing it again. My name is Enzo. I can't do it. I haven't got the voice for it. It's not happening.
My name's Enzo.
My name is Enzo.
It's got the wings and everything. Enzo cast stream, ladies and gentlemen. Do check him out on Twitch if you want to see more of exactly that. That's literally all that happens on stream. Check it out. Nice. Anyway. All good chaps, says Mr. Z. Harry's looking good, bib. Don't need to comb it, sexy man.
It's not. It's been but it's been horrendous, the weather, when I'm coming into work in the morning. So I've been putting my bobble hat on. When the bobble hat goes on, can't really gel the barnet. So it's give or take, but I'd much rather be warmer in the morning than look good in the afternoon. Oh, look at them luscious locks of hair.
Absolute hat hair going on, but it's getting long now. It's getting long now. We'll share my thoughts outside of other stuff, keeping it to what was shown and the transmission itself. We love it. Pro streamers, cheers the transmission itself was typical Konami, very Japanese and 90s cheese, but that maybe was the vibe they were going for. I don't think they're going to reach much of a new audience base than that. It was very core/old fan focused.
I don't think that was the vibe that they was going for. I just don't think they can shake that vibe. That's the difference. So it was very Japanese and very Japanese. I just don't think that they know how to do anything else but that. Like,
I mean, do you know what? All I'm going to say is it wasn't me and Bibby sat there, like, doing pigeon impressions. I mean, how can you keep up with the world if you've got 3 people stood in a green screen studio and none of them are doing pigeony stuff? What is this?
Exactly. Exactly.
You sound like a Dalek.
Mint.
I was like reading that like Darklick. What's a Darklick?
He's also not Jamaican.
He's not Jamaican.
That's news to me.
I genuinely did not know. You learn something new every day.
A Jamaican Scottish accent. I wonder what that sound like. That'll be like
twitch.tv/EnzoCastStream if you want to check it out.
There you go.
There you go.
There
Nice. Anyway, back into the news. Silent Hill 2's remake runs on Unreal Engine 5 and has a rebuilt combat system. The game will also use Epic's Lumen and Nanite technologies. It's almost like this is all we've spoken about when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 for the last 3 years. Anyway, moving into the main story. Bloober Team Silent Hill 2 remake. Bloobers.
Put that one in the bloopers.
just going to cut that as just one audio. Bloobers. Just fucking leave that there. Every time.
This is the worst start to a podcast I think we've ever done.
Bloopers. Show us your bloopers, baby.
Get it on edit mode.
Anyway, bloopers. Nice. Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 remake will feature a rebuilt combat system and run on Unreal Engine 5. It's been revealed. With a new perspective, this is a quote by the way, with a new perspective, we're rebuilding the combat system and certain set pieces, among other things. End quote, reads a PlayStation blog by Konami producer Motoi Okamoto. Or Motoi? Mr. Okamoto, or Mrs. Okamoto. I probably should know, but I don't. There we go, back in the room. Quotes, now that you see basically what James can see, we could find new ways to keep the player on edge. Also, in the post on the PlayStation blog, Konami revealed further details, such as that the game will be powered by UE5 and use its Lumen and Nanite technologies. The game will also adopt an over-the-shoulder camera. Quote, with that change, we want to immerse players even deeper into the game, make them feel like they are a part of this unreal world and deliver them a more visceral... I've not heard that word for a while. It used
visceral, yeah.
It used to get used all the time to the point where it was like meme. If you use the word visceral, then you were just like, oh, I've run out of words to say, so we'll just throw that one in. But it seems like we're allowed to use visceral again. Not nice. So to make them feel like they're part of this unreal world and deliver them a more visceral experience across the board, Okamoto explained. On Unreal Engine, he wrote, with the possibilities of the Unreal Engine 5, we're bringing the foggy, sinister town to life in ways that were impossible up to this point. The game will delight PS5 players visually, auditorily, and sensorily. Nice.
Big words.
Really. Nice. Some of the Unreal Engine 5 features that really shine are Lumen and Nanite. With them, we're raising the graphics to a new, highly detailed and realistic levels while turning the game's signature nerve-wracking atmosphere to 11. End quote. Bloober said it intends to recreate everything that made the original game a classic and to add new elements to make the game world more immersive. Silent Hill 2, this is a quote again, Silent Hill 2 is a cult classic and it's widely recognized as one of the best games ever made. Lennart said, we want Silent Hill 2 to make the same strong impression today that the original game did 21 years ago. While we want to achieve the same end result, players' expectations evolve over time and certain things need to be modernized to have the same or similar effect. For example, that's why we went with the over-the-shoulder camera, so we can immerse the players into the game world as much as possible. We'll leave it there. Silent Hill.
Yes.
2. Big old bloobers everywhere.
Yep.
Thoughts, babe?
First of all, I'm going to start with the bar and what they need to try and achieve.
Drinks are on bib. Yeah. Let's go.
Yes, please do. It's been a while since I've actually had a proper drink, to be fair. I'm going back maybe a few months, actually.
A couple of weekends for me. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks-ish. We had a few drinks. We had a couple of mates come over and we had a few...
Got all needs up.
Yeah, I thought it was rough the next day.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway.
Yeah, I digress.
The bar.
Yeah, the bar. The bar for remakes and remasters, or whatever the terminology that you want to say for me, is now Resident Evil 2 Remake. That has to be the bar when it comes to stuff like this. And I do have every faith that Konami will be able to try and emulate something like that. But the thing that made Silent Hill so beautiful in the first place was obviously the atmosphere, which, in large parts, was the fog, which was used to stop the loading areas and things like that in the field of view. That's what obviously made that game beautiful, but it was limited to what there was available then. I've seen films nowadays that have the worst CGI that's meant to look like natural fire. Samantha was watching... did you ever see Orphan?
No.
Right, so they've done a prequel to that this year.
Is it like called Not an Orphan? No, Parents Still Here?
It's got like Orphan, the Origins or something like that. And...
Awkward.
No, I was going to say what happens towards the end, but I don't think anyone's going to. If you've not watched it and you intend on watching, just skip forward 10 seconds. Anyway, towards the end of the film, she stood on top of the roof and the house is on fire. And I swear to God, I have never seen worse CGI for a modern day film in my life.
Yellow lace has just been.
Honestly, it looks like real fire, but what they've done is like someone's put a lighter underneath the bottom of the camera. Like, that's what it looks horrendous. So what I hope is that when they're trying to obviously make the fog as ray traced as possible and try to make it look realistic, that it doesn't look out of place. And that's my biggest worry and concern with this. Not how the gameplay is going to be. The combat is going to be evolved. It's mentioned that in here that it was clunky way back then. I imagine if you was to pick up a controller now on a PlayStation 2 and play that game, it probably, unless you played it back then, you probably won't want to play it. It just doesn't move. It's not modernized. We've come to the way that we move the right analog stick now to move the camera, and the left is to move your character and stuff. Like, the way that we're designed now to play video games is completely different now than it was back then. So it's understandable why they've had to make changes like that. It's the same way that Resident Evil did it with the over-the-shoulder camera and Remake 2 and 3. When the original was tank controls, like, they've made the control scheme more modern and more appealing to the larger audience and what we've come accustomed to. I've got no problems with that stuff. They'll nail that stuff. That's fairly simple stuff to be able to do. The trailer itself was pretty much frame for frame, I think, from the original trailer from 21 years ago. And I understand people are going, well, it's nothing new. It's like, well, it is. Look at the trailer. I think that's kind of appealing to the older fans, whilst the newer generation who probably never even heard of Silent Hill before because it's been so long since...
I think... The new generation will probably like, oh, this is that thing that everyone gets angry about all the time kind of thing. It's one of those games that everyone used to play and hasn't been able to play, so they're really pissed off that they can't play kind of thing. And so seeing the same trailer again, they're like, oh, this looks pretty cool. Yeah. And everyone else is like, yeah, but you're either, when you do something like that, when you remake something like that, it's Marmite. You're either going to love it or hate it. People are going to go, fucking remade the same thing. Yeah. Could they not do anything new? Whereas other people be like, oh, they've remade the same thing. I'm glad they didn't do anything new kind of thing.
I was speaking to a few of the Pez lads this morning who was talking about this, saying, but that game was perfection. Why can't we just go back and play that game again? I said, do you know what? You're absolutely right. That game was unbelievable and amazing. But how are you going to play it? These guys are, because they've got PlayStation 2 set up. If they wanted to go and play it, they'll put the disc and be able to play it. But how would my 16-year-old brother play that game now? He can't unless he has a PlayStation 2. It's not as if your PlayStation 5 nowadays are that backwards compatible that you can put if he wanted to borrow my PlayStation 2 copy of Silent Hill 2 and play that, he would never be able to unless he lent him my PS2 as well.
It's the same logic as bringing out The Last of Us Part 1. And what was the other one that was getting redone from...
The Last Guardian.
No, got remade. No, there was something like new from one of Sony's teams that was being redone again for the next gen. I don't know if it might be God of War, but so obviously we got The Last of Us Part 1. There was an article like last week before we covered it, and we were like, it's kind of the same thing again as that. If someone knows in the chat, do feel free to throw it in. But that is 10 years since we got The Last of Us, and we've had 3 versions of the same game kind of thing. Do we really need it? But the argument is that it's an option. You don't need to take it, but someone that has a PS5 that's seen the TV series, that wants to get into The Last of Us, has a full all singing, all dancing, all bells and whistles way of going, okay, well, I can just stick this in my console. Not going onto my console and going, do you want to download the PS4 version for your PS5? And it's like, blah, blah, blah. All that sort of stuff, or you can play it through PS Now and all those other clunky bits. So with that same sort of thing, okay, that game was perfect. Why can't I just play that game? Well, arguably that is kind of what people are doing now. They're playing that game, but it's perfect if you experienced it at that point in time. Going back and playing it without all of the bells and whistles that we expect as a minimum, going back and using tank controls nowadays will make it not perfect for people that didn't have the extra baggage and expectation coming into it. So in that sense, that game was perfect. Why can't we just play that game? That is what is happening in that sort of sense. I mean, like Mr. T said about it was very core / old fan focused. I mean, I do agree. Silent Hill 2, any form of remake, the same sort of thing with Resi. Like, you're kind of speaking to the crowd there. If you're remaking a game that's got 15 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, whatever the age is of the game that you're remaking, if it's got a legacy, you automatically alienate people. But if you do that right, you can do that in a way where you don't alienate people, where you actually go, okay, you missed it first time round, you're on the outside. But do you want to give it a try? Do you want to get back in at this point? This is your ability to see what all the fuss was about. And that clearly worked with Resi 2 for me, because I played it. Like, 90% your influence, but still, I played it. I played Resi 2, and I didn't play it. I played, like, jump up bits of it with mates or whatever. Mates were playing it, and I watched them, jumped in, did like
mechanics felt familiar, though, when you started playing it, right? Because it's pretty much industry standard when you're playing a game like that nowadays. So, in terms of being a very pick up and play, I feel like Resident Evil 2 was that. But the beauty of that game, for instance, not what the Resident Evil 3 happened, was the Resident Evil 2 started at the petrol station, which never happened in the original one. The original one, you started out in the street after the big silo had come over and blown up the centre of the street. Leon would go one way, Claire would go the other. That's how the original one started. But this one started in a petrol station, which I thought was genius, because I know what happens in the Resident Evil 2. I could sit here line for line and go through the original Resident Evil 2. But that was a curveball for me, because I was like, okay, where am I start when I start in the street? But no, I'm starting walking into a petrol station. This is something completely new, but also seems nearly familiar. So yeah, it's little things like that is just the kind of twist and the hope of what this is going to be like. I don't want it to be a frame for frame reenactment. I don't want that. I've seen that people can mod Silent Hill 2 and make it look as good as it ever has done in today with PC mods. That's absolutely fine. I want something that hits all the best notes of what a Silent Hill 2 game is, but also make it a little bit more modern. And I feel like, and I have every faith with this, that this is what it's going to be like.
I mean, it mentions Unreal Engine 5, Lumen and nanite technology. You were worried that the fog could look like really bad hold a lighter up to the camera graphics. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen anything for this, so I can say this quite comfortably. Obviously, once again, full disclosure, we're not going to go fully into everything because we work on a number of Konami contracts. But I haven't seen anything for Silent Hill, so I can give you my honest impressions off of what I've seen using Lumen and nanite references. So the Lumen in the Land of Nanite was the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, and there was bits where they were in dark caves and rocks fell through the roof, and you saw like the dust particles falling down through light beams and stuff. And that's effectively the procedural generation that you'll need for fog. And if that looked feckin' amazing in that, you've got to feel it's like that's where UE5 excels. I mean, obviously all we've been told is Unreal Engine 5 is wonderful. We've seen Superman flying around in a Matrix knockoff version. We've seen the tech demos and stuff like that. We've seen train stations being built in Japan that look scary as fuck, which sounds like it would work for this. So all of those bits coming together makes me feel like, because this game is also, it's more about what you can't see than what you can see. It's what your brain's telling you is or isn't there. That Unreal Engine is the engine that feels like this has got to be something. This has got to be something. And then obviously for anyone that watched the transmission last night, there is a number of other projects. They're not all made by the same team, not all made by the same engine and stuff. But if Silent Hill 2 Remake is the first one that comes out and we get to see what UE5 can do from that, then you can guarantee, I mean, once again, saying this without any knowledge, so I'm saying this is just my thoughts off my chest, you guarantee we'll get more Silent Hill Unreal stuff off the back of that.
Well, this is it. I feel like this is probably the baseline for maybe a Silent Hill 3, maybe a Silent Hill 4. Like, Silent Hill 4 was still fantastic. I absolutely love that game. The only one that I've got a small problem with is the one that's being done by the guys who are doing the Resident Evil Reverse.
So that takes me back into chat. There we go. Mr. T, in terms of what they showed, for me, Townfall is what shows the most promise based on the developer no code behind it. So developer no code is behind it. So I agree. That one, from my perspective, I loved how artistic the trailer was. The fact that you've got the grayscale color scheme, and then you get the red in the Silent Hill Townfall logo. You've got the waves crashing on the shore. You've got the little sort of like walkie-talkie-ish sort of stuff. It didn't show you a lot, but it showed you a lot. And then obviously if you watch it back, the developers at the end are like, there's some Easter eggs in this trailer kind of thing. And I'm like, oh fuck, is there? I wasn't paying that much attention. I don't know. So I need to go back and watch it through and see it through. That's the stuff where if they've gone through the effort of putting Easter eggs and stuff in there, then that shows that they've gone through the effort of understanding what the community would like to see, which is already a great start. Plus then the fact that you get no code, great Scottish developer in there as well. That hopefully is a recipe for success.
Fingers crossed. I think the thing is, a world of more Silent Hill, I'm all down for that. I feel like it's genuinely the perfect time to coming back. Resident Evil has had its time in the sun again. After, I know we always bring it up, but I know I always bring up Resident Evil, but that's the thing that's closest to my chest. That and Pez, along with Silent Hill, are the games that obviously I grew up playing. So having Resident Evil come back with a vengeance after Resident Evil 6, and it's been all uphill since then. We're getting Silent Hill back in the mix again now, and I just hope that all of these games bang, because what's better than 4 Silent Hill games? 5 more Silent Hill games
17
coming down the
films
line.
and cooperative experiences and so on. If you haven't watched the Silent Hill transmission, it's about half an hour to 40-ish minutes long if you take off. Well, there's like 15 minutes of countdown kind of stuff at the beginning as well. Definitely do go watch it. So there's multiple games and content and promotional merchandise items and stuff within there. So if you are a Silent Hill fan, this was, from my perspective, more than I would have expected, in terms of, I would have expected one new Silent Hill game maybe thrown in a state of play. Like Silent Hill 2, we've already been told is console exclusive on the PS5. I would have expected that in a state of play or something like that. To see a Silent Hill transmission coming along and then not just padding it out, like we see that happen too often as well. Transmissions that last 20 to 30 minutes, whereas it could be 6 minutes. Whereas this was like 30 minutes, and it was like wall to wall content. Might not all be the content for you. You might not be interested in a pyramid head or a red pyramid thing, sort of model figure kind of thing. I mean, it might not be your vibe, but Silent Hill fans, there was a lot in there, which was pretty cool.
That just made me think then, when you mentioned about it being in a state of play, what do you reckon it would have done numbers-wise had it have been in with the world watching during a state of play rather than it just being Silent Hill fans? Do you reckon the Silent Hill faithful would have just watched this? Obviously the numbers would have been completely skewed because it had been sandwiched in between whatever PlayStation was announcing, but in terms of global scale, if there was to have that Silent Hill Remake 2 trailer being put in during a state of play versus their own production, what do you reckon?
I don't know, I feel like there's different things there though. I feel like it could have got massive numbers, but I feel like it will get the numbers anyway. I feel like maybe there's an instant spike if it's just on the PlayStation state of play. So you go, oh, here's a new Ratchet and Clank DLC. Oh, here's something else, and some mobile games, and something from our PlayStation Stars. That was, by the way. And then one more thing, and then you get the full Silent Hill trailer at the end. It's like, oh my god! There'd be a massive circle jerk on social media. Everyone would be fucking, whoa! and then you get the huge boom, and then then there's lots more content for people to talk about. Actually, did you see the thing about the Ratchet and Clank? That's actually leading into there's new God of War Ragnarok stuff, and it kind of like it's a huge spike, but it gets lost. So there's positives and negatives for both of it in that sort of sense. So I feel like it being in that was pretty good. Let me jump back into Mr. T's comics. I didn't finish it either as well. Silent Hill 2 remake. It's Bloober Team, so it will look good, but gameplay wise, it's a risky move from Konami as they are very hit and miss. So yeah, I've not played Bloober games, but I have heard that. What was it? Was it the medium? I remember. I think it might have even been Mr. T. So when we did obviously the watch-alongs back in lockdown, looking at, is it the median or medium? I can't remember.
Medium.
So I remember seeing that coming along. I remember being hyped for it being from Bloober, and then it was just like, they've dropped the ball again. So hopefully, they've had that and it's out of the system, and then we get like, because everything's been done previously, they are building on an existing system. We know they clearly have skills, but they've been wide of the mark. They've not stuck the landing. Hopefully that's a good recipe then. They're working off someone else's homework, so they just need to replicate it well. So hopefully that's a good work. The Last One, F, cool trailer, but it's the dev team behind Reverse and Resi Resistance. Let's see. Yeah, F was the one that kind of twisted my head a little bit. That's the one where it's freaky as fuck. There is something that just it triggers a lot of people. Do you know? What's it? It's like a phobia of holes, and the way they show it is like a hand with lots of little holes in it. It's like trypophobia. I was going to say typophobia.
Samantha has that.
But it makes it cringe. But that fucking, there's a bit in the Silent Hill F trailer that does that, and then the way it ends, I'm not going to say how it ends. Go watch it. It's worth a watch.
Unless you got trypophobia.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's not worth a watch.
Then it's the most terrifying thing you've ever seen in your life.
So yeah, a lot of stuff in there. Townfall, Silent Hill 2 remake. Then there's Ascension, which is the sort of like live streamed sort of shared experience, which I don't know how that works.
Did you ever play Hidden Agenda?
No.
So Hidden Agenda was a PlayStation 4 game where you would put the disc in and you would have, I think it's up to 6 or 8 of your friends who are in the same house. You are given, you download the app on your phone, and I'm sure it was on the same Wi-Fi. I don't think it was like Jackbox Party where they had a code and you could enter it and you could play from anywhere. But you would have to be on the same Wi-Fi, I think. And then stuff would happen on the screen, and then you as a detective or whoever else it was, you would make the decisions, and then the story would move into separate directions. It was really, really good concept. You could probably pick it up from CEX now for about £3. So if you have people over at Christmas, it's definitely worth it.
That's kind of where, in my mind, I'm thinking that's where it's going. It's just the fact that this can shape the future canon. So you are shaping the actual laws of the universe, the law of the universe. And that's the bit I'm thinking, whoa. But then again, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's going to be a finite number of decisions in it. So everything that's in there is, let's say, simplifying it, it will either end up A, B, or C. And they're happy enough that every story will move forward. People just need to decide what that is. But I'm thinking, like, can you only shape that if it's a live streamed event? Is it a live streamed event? Is it something that's brought up over time? And that's the thing where it's like the we've got Raid coming in. Quick Stop Hicks, hey,
legend.
For anyone in our stream that doesn't know Quick Stop Hicks, I know we have a number of FIFA content creators or content players, should I say, in the stream at least. Quick Stop Hicks is hands down the best FIFA streamer on Twitch, and I'm saying that whilst he's here. If someone else was coming in, I'd probably say the same thing again in slightly different. No, but also PGA and all the rest is good, legend. Guys. So do feel free to drop a little click on Quick Stop Hicks' name and drop a follow. Very much appreciated. Quick Stop Hicks, thank you very much for bringing your people in. Appreciate it. We are talking about Silent Hill Transmission, specifically talking about Silent Hill 2's remake to start things off, but we just talked into a broader conversation about last night's broadcast.
I would love it if it was episodic or something like that. So
what, the Ascension content?
Yeah, so again, this is going back many years. I'm talking like 70, 80 years ago when like the War of the Worlds was on the radio and no one knew what the fuck was happening. They thought that the world was genuinely ending because what was it called? Orson Welles?
Orson Welles, yeah.
Orson Welles ended up...
aliens are outside and people are, oh, fuck this shit. And then
nothing had ever been done like that
killing
before.
the children kind of thing, thinking the world's over kind of thing.
So imagine like every single...
Just want to point out, I've said that. My university lecturer told me that people were actually killing their kids and stuff because they were terrified. But I have also heard since that was just like urban legend bullshit. Yeah. Nobody actually did. But anyway, it had an impact.
I heard something along them lines, maybe not killing the kids, but genuinely people who were terrified that was like going to the town halls and stuff because of the chaos that it was causing, because it had never ever been done, that kind of stuff before. Radio was obviously quite a new concept, and people being terrified by what was getting put out onto the airwaves and stuff. Fantastic things. But imagine it like every single week that they were saying, right, Friday, 6 p.m. UK time, episode 2 is going to be streamed on YouTube, and you can have your say on how this story moves on to the next episode. It runs for 10 weeks, and then you can have, there might be 70,000 people watching, and then they would obviously have all of the outcomes in the back predetermined, but it's the people who are making the decisions.
It's like Twitch plays Pokemon, but like YouTube plays Silent Hill.
Yeah, so what was it was the Black Mirror program that happened, and you could watch it and then you could decide what was happening. What was that called?
I've not seen it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So like, obviously that was in your own, but in the comfort of your own home, you can tell the story. And
there's a number of people have done it on YouTube where they've done like skits like that, and when you get the thumbnails that pop up at the end, they've gone, do you want to call Bibby a penis? Press left. Do you want to call him a moob? Press right. And it's like, oh, you call Bibby a moob, and it's like, ah! And then you get the, oh, Bibby's angry. Do you want to apologise, or do you want to double down and call him double moob kind of thing?
Bandersnatch, that was it, Asim. Yeah, he's got it there. But I'd love to see something like that, because that genuinely, I know it would end up getting skewed, because unless there was no ridiculous option on there and it was just genuinely like. But then again, like if it was like Until Dawn, where you have 6 characters and you can literally finish the game with just one and just purposely kill off the other ones, it doesn't make any sense for you to be able to do that. But the internet, right?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like how it's the fact that I don't know that's got me curious, because how does that work? Is that one video that goes live at 6 p.m. on YouTube, and you got told in advance if you're not there, you're not there? There's 70,000 people that
yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
Or is it like fucking Love Island? Oh, you've got until 10 p.m. midnight to cast your votes, which you can do by watching the video and downloading the app and using the kind of thing. So, like, yeah.
The end of the episode will always be a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. It should, like, say, you have a week, you have 3 days.
But is it even episodic? Is it an episode? Is it one full playthrough? Is it one broadcast where everyone sits there, download the smartphone app, like, or whatever?
So I mean, the possibilities are endless. Like, you could run it, if it was episodic, run it for 10 weeks, and then when it finishes or concludes, you go, thank you very much for playing. Do you want to be able to play this on your own with your friends in your own house? There you go. It's available on the PlayStation Store now for you to be able to download. That would be the ideal scenario. I think that would be sick. By the way, I have just seen the Cult of put into the chat that the FM beta is going live soon, which is fantastic. However, do you want to send us a code? Jack, if you can get hold of a code for us for beta access, that would be fantastic, because I have not pre-ordered it, because I will be buying it, or should I say, kind of renting it off Xbox Game Pass. That's why I'll be playing it. But if you do have some spare codes knocking around, that will be absolutely fantastic, Jack. Please sort us out.
Let's go. Okay, let me scroll back up. I'll catch up with things then. Happy to be proven wrong though, says Misty. Yeah, exactly. It's good consideration. I mean, particularly jumping back into the task for Blue with Silent Hill 2, I thought I'm saying happy to be proven wrong. I've not even caught up with your comments. Enzo says, I never played Silent Hill, so I'm out of the loop completely. It's all right, we brought it back in now. Mr. T says, the task for Bloober with the Silent Hill 2 remake is to do what Capcom did with the Resident Evil 2 remake, capture the essence of the original while modernising it enough to bring the current times and attract a new audience. I'm not sure they're up to that given their history sense. Hence, I said it's a risky dev choice from Konami. Happy to prove them wrong. I think that's the same thing with all of it. Hopefully, in that sense, you are proven wrong. Hopefully, we all get a game that we can cherish, but it's natural to come in, particularly F, obviously Silent Hill F.
Yeah.
We were talking about just yesterday, I think it was, if not it was the day before, about Resident Evil Reverse. It was yesterday, because we were talking about this, there is a Resident Evil showcase tonight.
Yeah.
And Baby was like, I hope they don't talk about Resident Evil Reverse. And Silent Hill F is made by those developers. So that's where we hope you are proven wrong. Hopefully Resident Evil Evil Reverse just gets yeeted off into the sun, but the developers have gone, okay, that was due to, it was like Crystal Dynamics making an Avengers game. Great developer, wrong project. Hopefully these developers just were on the wrong project with Konami, and Resident Evil F is the right project. Hopefully we get that, and then we all can high five. Nice. Tick says, hello chaps, I will watch this. I like Triangle Head. Do it. Go watch it. It's good.
Triangle Head.
I do not have a phobia of holes, says Enzo. Giggity. Then we get the quick start Hicks raid. Welcome back again, dude. Appreciate that. I see you. Welcome in. Hubzilla says the best. To which quick stop Hicks says, yes, the best. You heard it. It's just like watching BBC News. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah. I'm assuming you were on about us and not Bandersnatch, or did you mean Bandersnatch? I don't know. Black Mirror is pretty clever. Love, Death, and Robots is good too. I've not seen that one.
I don't. What's that one?
I've not heard that one.
What Death and Robots?
I've listened to Love and Sex and Magic from Justin Timberlake. If that's similar. Love and Sex and Magic. No, okay, nice. We'll move ahead. Since we've only got 15 minutes left, we'll pick up the pace.
What was the other one?
Callisto Protocol. So we had a little bit of a snipe at Gotham Knights, but it wasn't us having a snipe at Gotham Knights. Well, it's what you see it for yourself. It's the article having a snipe at Gotham Knights, because it's even in the tagline. Ravi Sinha at Gaming Bolt says, the Callisto Protocol will have a 60 FPS performance mode. Nice! Well, then it says, unlike Gotham Knights. Oh, nice.
Is this going to be the new stick to beat everything with? If it's not for 60 frames, you Gotham Knights?
Seems like it is. So unlike Gotham Knights, Striking Distance Studio survival horror title will have a performance mode, the more details are needed. Gotham Knights has garnered backlash lately for being locked to 30 FPS on current gen consoles and not having a performance mode. In the wake of this, Striking Distance Studios has confirmed that its survival horror title, The Callisto Protocol, will have a 60 FPS performance mode at launch. As such, it's not a fair comparison, since The Callisto Protocol is a linear title with different routes, but still, while Gotham Knights is an open world game with co-op support, it could just be the developer riding the wave of controversy to garner attention. There are still several unknown factors though. What will the resolution be in performance mode? What is the resolution and frame rate for previous gen console versions? Time will tell. So we'll need to wait for more details. Callisto Protocol comes out one day before my birthday on December the 2nd. My birthday, just to confirm, is December the 3rd. So there you go. And it'll be available on all platforms and stuff. Nice. Okay. The tweet said, we would love to inform you that all that we will be shipping globally on December the 2nd. And yes, we'll have a 60 FPS performance mode. Did they tweet that knowing full well that everyone was fuming about Gotham Knights?
100%, because the reviews came out today, and I think the Metacritic score, I think Jack mentioned upstairs, was like 64% or something for Gotham Knights, which obviously isn't good. It's a game that I probably had as my most anticipated for this year. I feel like 60 FPS is standard. It got put in our Discord either yesterday or the day before, I think by Chappers. It might have even been Tito, actually. It was someone from the Gotham Knights developer team, I don't know, who was head of development or something, was complaining that the Xbox Series S is the reason why it was probably not as good as it should be, claiming that it was only just better than what the PS4 and Xbox One can put out, which is complete bullshit.
I mean, it sounds to me like Xbox is crap and it's ruined it for everyone else.
Doubling down. Double down or double downer. But yeah, like, I don't believe that for a second. I feel like that's just a nice little thing for them to be able to paper over the cracks, considering Xbox Series S's can do 40 and 40 and 60
do not
FPS.
Look at my massive bonfire. Blame it on that very well-constructed fireplace.
Yeah,
that's
blame it on that candle.
Yeah, it's not even a candle because it's like fully doing its job. The Xbox Series S, from everyone that I've spoke to, is a really good, really powerful system at a really, really affordable price. I've heard nothing bad about the Series S console, and now all of a sudden it's a piece of shit that's holding back the generation.
It's ridiculous, and I feel like they're definitely clutching at anything at this point, considering that I'm sure it was Friday when I covered the fact that Gotham Knights was only going to be 30 FPS, and it was nearly breaking records for the amount of pre-orders that were cancelled, because I don't even think that they told you what the game was going to consist of in terms of what the performance was going to be like, if it was going to have a performance mode or visual fidelity mode or something like that. You just expect it to be bare minimum. Nowadays, for an next-gen console, 1080 60. That should be the absolute bar. Anything else above that, you can scale it to whatever you're able to. I don't have a 4K monitor, but it can do 60 easily. it's 144 hertz, so it'll piss that. Do you know what I mean?
Easy.
So it's
like, I mean, PUBG.
A shit show.
To give you an example, so the reason I say PUBG is not just because I'm, obsessed. I mean, I am, but PUBG is made by Krafton. Krafton owns Callisto Protocol's developer, Striking Distance Studios. So Callisto Protocol is in the same studio family as PUBG. PUBG has performance mode and resolution mode. Resolution is 4K 30 FPS, and performance mode is 1080p 60 FPS. So I feel like Callisto Protocol's dev teams will probably be speaking to PUBG's dev teams, and I feel like it was always probably there, and it would never have been a story. It will have just been, oh, well, we'll do 4K 30 at launch, and we might even get 4K 60 as well. We'll see what we can do, kind of thing. Because PUBG has upscaled now. I think there is maybe it's not 4K 60. Anyway, there's more options on PUBG now. So I think that was a non-story until it became a story. So like Mr. T said, opportune social media from whoever's in charge of Callisto Protocol account, they knew what they were doing, 100%. Because PUBG 100%. Having a performance mode was 2 years old. That's old news. It might have even been pre-lockdown. So great. It's a non-story. Now Callisto gone, oh, by the way, lol.
It almost makes me feel like it's very, 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 very nearly going to be something that might actually be industry standard going forward. Now going, this game will run at 60 FPS.
I mean, the thing is, in my opinion, it should be. It's like crossplay. I know I'm oversimplifying because not everyone has it yet, crossplay or performance modes. But for my opinion, it's if you're missing it out now, then you've missed the early adopters boat, and you're also just about to miss the industry standard. You're now dropping into the late to the party sort of boat in that sort of sense.
1080 60 is 100%. That should be the industry standard going forward, unless, like what Enzo said there, if you're doing it for like a cinematic cool thing, like you're trying something a little bit different, but that's part of your marketing strategy, that it's not going to be that because it's going to be this something. I couldn't even give you an example of what would work with something like that.
It's funny though that Spider-Man Miles Morales has the Enter the Spider-Verse like suit, and you dress like you dress like Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse films, but because that's an animated skit, that it changes the frame rate, so it's proper like framing kind of thing. But it looks fucking badass. It's amazing that other games are scaling down to meet the resolution that Gotham Knights is going to be putting it out. And I think that's the other thing as well, because we were talking about like if you're not starting to get it soon, you're going to be missing the you're not an early adopter, you're not the mainstream, you're the late to the party boat that you're getting on. And I think it's the significance comes from the fact that it's a DC ex Warner Brothers game. If this was like not the Gotham Knights, but like the Blackpool Knights or whatever, oh great, it's just some game from some indie developers, and it's not fine. But we're talking about the same world as Batman. Batman, not like fucking some half-rate superhero off of whatever series that you've watched, kind of thing. This is Batman's world. How is the world where Batman and Superman and all of those, that long history of content and delivering experiences being subpar right now? And I think that's the problem, because everyone waited so long to get some Warner Brothers games, and then all of a sudden all these games are coming amazing for a while. And then it's late and it's delayed, and you're getting all these conversations about people saying, well, it's clearly been built for the last gen, and they tried to put it onto the next gen. And
it's bullshit, because they'll be charging next gen prices for this, and that's where this falls down. If it was built for the PlayStation 4 or something, 35, 40 quid, bosh, no one will bat on an eyelid. But the fact that this is obviously meant to be the next big thing, the next gen, I say the next gen, the current gen, because we're 2 years deep into this gen's console now, so this is a bad situation for Gotham Knights, but one that I imagine Callisto Protocol will not be the only ones capitalising on this.
Absolutely. I mean, well played to Callisto Protocol's teams, Glenn Schofield and the like at Striking Distance. I assume it was they control their social stuff, so GG's to whoever yoinked that. I mean, you got us talking about on the scoop, so well done. Nice. Pros go 60. Oh, there you go. If it's 2022, if you aren't putting out at least 1080p 60, then don't start unless you're doing a cinematic thing and go 30 or 24 FPS. David says any film filmed an actual film is either do you want to say the word film a few more times?
Film.
Any film, I mean, it makes sense there. Any film filmed an actual film is either filmed at 24 or 30 FPS, a standard to prevent live screens on set to not flicker or suffer from screen tear when they were the old CRT screens.
When was the last time that? Well, I say when was the last time? I still think some modern films might be shot on film on Super 8s or something like that, just for or Super 16s, just for the sake of having that kind of film, but. It's all modernised, it's all digitalised. They'll be running it onto cards for the purpose of being able to extend it. Not, we've only got £3 worth of film today, so we can't have any fuck-ups kind of thing. That's not the case anymore. Unless it's an artistic direction for you to be able to shoot on Super 8s or 16s or something of that ilk. That's an artistic direction. You're paying through the arse for that, but not for a video game. Not something that's digitalized content that they can scale as and when they need to. I don't think it's acceptable. I don't agree with it.
I don't believe Enzo thinks it's acceptable. I'm getting tired of this last gen shit. People need to stop supporting it now. I mean,
there's a place for it. It just needs to be priced accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy to give leeway with the last gen stuff. The issue is, and it's not as bad as Cyberpunk was, although Cyberpunk is finally smashing it now from all intents and purposes. Like 1 million new players every day for the last 14 days consecutively.
I was going to have that yesterday in the news today, but again, we're moving back into cyberspunk. Yeah. I was going to call it Cyberspunk. Cyberspunk territory. Maybe that should have been the title.
I mean, all we did was spunk out news about Cyberpunk. So, I mean, it meant to say Cyberscoop for those that weren't around, but Cyberspunk, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Come again? Anyway, so I'm not bothered with the last gen conversation, but if you've made a last gen game and you've then had to delay it to push it onto the next gen, granted, it's going to cost a bit more because you've taken more time and you've got more developers and you've got new engines and stuff, but it's not a next-gen game. And you are still releasing it on the last gen as well, so it clearly works for the last gen, and the next gen is hamstrung, so it's not really a next-gen game, then you can't be selling it for 60, 70 quid. It's 45 to 55 quid kind of ballpark, 55 tops, and and this is the rub is... We're expecting, we're seeing all the social media campaigns coming out around building up the hype, but the substance just isn't there. And the only ones that hurt, and everyone hurts, the players, but the ones that hurt the most are the people making the games. So you might be trying to, get a few extra quid out of this if we can just put it up to 70 quid and make it go next gen. No, because you lose shitloads more quids when people don't buy it or return it or cancel the pre-orders and stuff. So, yeah. Just for the record, Bibby has double audio sometimes, or has this just been my old ears? It could be.
Sometimes this happens.
Fucking angry about it.
As Dave says, I don't actually know why it happens. I don't know whether or not it's my voice coming through twice on this or my voice is being picked up by Graham's mic, but his mic is actually lower than my mic.
Yeah, so
I still haven't quite worked out. I think we might have kind of put a small stopgap in there because I said that I was going to get some USB extenders to run them separately rather than going through a hub, which might end up solving it. It could be a driver issue.
Bibby speaks in stereo, that's what it is. I'm just monotoned Graham.
God.
And I'm like, Graham. Nice. Nice. Okay, the time is 3:58. So let me just quickly have a gander. Well, do you know what? We're gonna yeet the Xbox mobile game story. What I will do is, do you know what? That's got updates too. We'll leave that story there. So the two stories that we were going to cover that we'll shelve. Apologies for anyone that was sitting around for it, but you can join us tomorrow from 10 a.m.-ish to cover the stories. The other two stories were Twitch prohibiting unlicensed gambling streams as influential streamers threaten strikes. So it's back to the whole Twitch gambling. People don't want it. I'm going to quit the platform. Bibby's always in a hot tub. Why are you not penalising him? That sort of conversation.
Absolutely.
We'll pick up that conversation from Bibby's hot tub tomorrow. And then the other conversation was about Xbox wanting to build out a mobile game store to compete with Google and Apple, and it was going to have all of the Call of Duty stuff on it apparently. Ooh. But we'll talk about those two tomorrow. For now though, we are going to wrap things up. We appreciate you sticking around for two stories. It was mainly a one-story show.
Yes,
because obviously there was a lot of content that came out yesterday from the Silent Hill transmission, including Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill Townfall, Silent Hill Ascension, Silent Hill F, Can you say Silent Hill a few more times?
The
answer to that question is no, he can't.
No, I was just doing remixes. Reload.
Hill. Nice. Okay. We are going to disappear. We appreciate you all sticking around, joining us today. Mr. T for throwing down, I think it was like his 456th month sub or something like that. Quick Stop Hicks throwing down a big old raid. Everyone else that's been involved in the stream throughout the course of the day, we appreciate you very, very much. But do stick around. We're going to drop a raid on one of our friends because it's nice to pass on some love. But before that happens...
Yes.
Mr. Bibbs having problems with Mike, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. If you want to help shape tomorrow's shows and tack on to the other two news stories that we didn't get through today, there is two ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there for you. But only from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions at what time tomorrow for the last show of the week, Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m.
Ish.
10 a.m.-ish. We work in the video games industry. We get on stream whenever we can. We aim for 10 a.m. It's not always 10 a.m. Today it was definitely not 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, who knows? Do you know what? You can follow us right now, though, on Twitch. It doesn't cost you anything, and you will get notified when we go live, as long as you keep your notification turned on. And that way you get told anyway. Yeah. Or just check us out on Twitter. You get the links and stuff there. But for now, stick around. We're going to throw at the end slate and drop a raid on one of our friends. Until next time, have a beautiful day.
And stay frosty.